Hello BookTube, I'm Vanessa and today I'm here to do the Legendary Pokemon book tag. So this tag was created by Sarah from Novel Serendipity and I was tagged by Nat from Pickle Hearts Books, and I'll leave both videos linked down below in case you want to go check them out. But basically this tag is all about legendary Pokemon, and I have to say I got this new wig yesterday and I feel very much like a Pokemon trainer in this. Like if I was in a Pokemon video game, this is what I would want to look like. So with that being said, let's talk about some legendary Pokemon. The first question is of course Mew, which is your original favorite book, the book that started it all. And for me, the first book that I ever remember falling in love with and wanting to read all the time was a little golden book called The Sailor Dog. It's about a dog who sails boats. His name is Scruffy, and I don't really know what else to say about it. And then the next Pokemon is of course Mewtwo, and that question is about a series where you preferred the second book over the first book. And for that, I think I'm gonna say The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare, because I love them all, but look, I'm a big Jim Carstairs fan, and I feel like Clockwork Prince was really Jim's time to shine in that series, you know? So I've always just had more of a connection and more of an excitement about Clockwork Prince than any of the other books. And then we have Zapdos, which is a book where you wanted a character to be struck down by lightning, never to return. And for that, I think I'm gonna say The Distance from Me to You, which is a book which started off amazing and could have been amazing. Basically, it's about a teenage girl who's just graduated high school and she wants to take 6 months off before she starts college so that she can hike the Appalachian Trail. And this girl was like all set to do it. She's gonna do it by herself, which I thought was totally badass, and just have this experience of being in the wilderness just camping and hiking for 6 months straight. That sounds amazing, and I was so excited to read about her doing that. But very shortly into her hiking trip, she meets a boy, which isn't necessarily a bad thing on its own, but this particular boy was less of a boy and more of an adult toddler. And basically what ends up happening is that this girl derails her entire hiking trip to take care of this man-child and fix all of his problems for him, and follows along with his stupid decisions that basically ruin her entire trip, which I hated, but she didn't mind because she was in love. So, you know, I wish that I could just shoot him with lightning, get him out of that freaking book. The next question is Moltres, which is a book that got your blood boiling. So another ranty book here. I want to talk about Brooklyn. It's basically a literary fiction about this Irish girl who moves to New York. I think it's the early 1900s, maybe like the 30s. I'm not totally sure of the time. But what I didn't like about this book is that the female main character never becomes empowered. Like, it's supposed to be a coming of age story, but I feel like she never comes of age. I feel like she stays like exactly the same static character who's just being a doormat and letting everyone else push her around and making decisions that she doesn't actually want, because that's just what she's being pushed into by the world around her from the first page to the very last page. Like the last page, she's still doing that. So, I mean, in general, it just wasn't a great book, but the thing that really made my blood boil about it was a scene in particular where she is having sex for the first time, and it is quite clearly, to me as a reader, not consensual. And it's never addressed, and I don't think the author knows that he wrote a rape scene. And slight spoiler alert, that's the love interest that she ends up with at the end, and it's super romantic and they get married or some shit. And apparently it's fine, it doesn't need to be addressed. The next Pokemon is Articuno, and that is a book you would wait for the world to freeze over before getting rid of. And I couldn't pick just one for this because like my book collection means so much to me. I have so many books that I would never dream of getting rid of, but I think the most important ones to me are ones that I have in special editions or vintage editions that are just kind of not as easily replaceable. The next Pokemon is Lugia, and that is a book that you feel like might have psychic powers because it spoke to you on a personal level. And for that, I'm making a pun because I picked a book that is about psychic people actually, and also spoke to me on a personal level, and that is The Diviners by Libba Bray. This is such an amazing series, and I'm so upset that I waited so long to read this series because it is so perfect for me. Like, it's so perfectly crafted to my exact tastes. I just can't even believe it. It has a dazzling and atmospheric setting with an aesthetic and a vibe that I just love. It is extremely character driven and features characters that are super three-dimensional and complex and emotional, and I feel connected to, like as if I actually know them. It has this perfect balance of elements that I'm really into, such as the supernatural aspect, the historical aspect, a little bit of horror but not too scary. It has just the right amount of darkness and seriousness contrasted with just the right amount of lighthearted fun and humor, and I think it also made a very good job and effort of being inclusive and diverse, and since it is a historical setting, making a point to not only focus on the glitz and glamour of the 20s but also the injustices and the inequalities and the bad things that were happening in the 20s. And basically The Diviners is a perfect A+ series. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. The next Pokemon is Entei, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm not familiar with this Pokemon. Probably one of those newfangled Pokemons the kids keep coming up with that I'm too old to know about. But the question is a character from a book or series that you wouldn't mind being your parents or that remind you of your parents. I always kind of really wanted Remus Lupin to be my dad. I think he is so good. He's like responsible and mature and like adultly, but he's also, I don't know, so compassionate and kind and understanding. I don't know a lot about dads, but that was what I would want in a dad if I had one. Anyways, the next Pokemon is Ho-Oh, and that question is a book that you love that you feel like no one even knows about. And for this, I read for Halloween, like my first year on BookTube, I think, a book called Welcome to the Dark House by Lauren Ferrier-Stolarz, and it was so amazing, and I've never heard anyone else talk about. I mean, I think I might have heard about this book from someone on BookTube, in which case obviously there's one person that has read it, but if I'm remembering correctly, I think I just found this on the library shelf. Like, I was just browsing the shelves and I saw it and I thought it looked cool. So as far as I know, not very many, if any, people on BookTube are talking about Welcome to the Dark House, and that makes me really sad because it was so good. It is a young adult horror book about a girl who she's really into this scary movie director, and she wins a contest to go get to visit one of his movie sets, which is a haunted house. But the more time goes on, weirder and weirder stuff starts happening, and it's just really good. And then the last question is for Latios and Latios, and this is a book with a duo that you absolutely adore. However, I've seen different versions of this question going around. Like in Natalie's video description, this question is listed as a duo of heroines that you enjoyed, and I wanted to use that one instead just because it's less general, gave me a chance to narrow down the options a little bit. And I decided that a duo of heroines that I really liked was Mare and Dinah from Of Fire and Stars by Audrey Coulthurst. This book is really awesome because it's kind of like your typical YA fantasy story, but instead of a prince and a princess falling in love and going on an adventure, it is about two princesses falling in love and saving the day and saving their kingdoms and stuff like that. And it's just so good. I really, really enjoyed it. So that is it for the legendary Pokemon book tag. Thank you so much, Nat, for tagging me. I feel really bad because I get tagged a lot and I've been so behind on videos and I just haven't been filming that I haven't been doing the tags that I'm tagged in, but it feels really good that I finally had some time to film today. So thank you again for tagging me. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comment, who is your favorite legendary Pokemon? I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm not really a big legendary Pokemon person. I kind of just like the normal Pokemon more, you know? Just not epic enough to appreciate legendary Pokemon, I guess. But I did really enjoy this tag, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope that I get to talk to you soon. Bye!